Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to my renovation of the 17 Culpepper house apartment located in San Myshuno from the Sims 4 City Living expansion pack. This is part one of a series where I go around every single building in San Myshuno and give it a reno only using base game and City Living. Now the first thing I am trying to do here is give it a different layout. Now I really struggled with this apartment because the windows are in a really weird place. I really wanted to add like another bedroom in here, but I couldn't do that, which was so frustrating. And I know there's going to be people say to move the windows, but my thing is I get really infuriated when I move the windows and they're not the same as the rest of the apartment block, because when you move them, they'll be in a different position to the apartments below, which I know doesn't bother a lot of people, but it really bothers me. So I try and keep the windows where they are. As you can see, one does actually get accidentally deleted, but I add it back later on, which in itself adds a lot of issues into this build. I really tried to add another bedroom, as you can see, but it just was not working because of the windows. Having two bedrooms makes gameplay so much easier, even if you just have one sim, because then you can have like a skill building room with like a computer and stuff, make it into like a little office, but this just was not going to work for this room. So I tried to make it into sort of like a industrial themed studio apartment vibe, but with just one bedroom. Those that watch over on my TikTok and my Twitch will know that the industrial theme is like my creme de la creme when it comes to Sims 4. It's my favorite build style to build in, other than like 70s style, so I'm trying my best to do that in here. It is sort of difficult to do this style only using City Living and base game though, because I really wanted to use Get to Work because it has loads of really good industrial stuff. A lot of people are sleeping on that pack for that reason. Like, I use the stairs all the time. Sorry, I am getting sidetracked, but I really do like that pack, and I think it's because I'm biased because it was the first pack I ever bought. Part of the reason why I wanted to do this as an industrial build as well is because in this area, the Spice Market district, I believe it is, in San Myshuno, they have a lot of like brick buildings, especially like this apartment block has brick on the outside. So I tried to use that on the inside, but it was just such a stark red color that like it wasn't going with anything that I was doing. So I switched it to that like white distressed brick instead, which is one of my favorite wallpapers to use, especially because it's completely base game as well. So for the industrial girlies, there you go. I'm trying to figure out the kitchen here as well. Now this changes a lot. Like you can see there, I had the cottage living fridge that I always use like in so many of my builds, but I had to switch it out for something else, and I do eventually because I realized it is cottage living, I can't use it. But like none of the swatches were working in here, so you'll see that I struggle with this for a little while. I tried to add some shelves, but eventually I take them out as well because I don't like them. I don't know what it is with me in kitchens, like sometimes I really love what I'm doing with them and sometimes I really dislike it, and I feel like in industrial builds it's really hard to do kitchens because I want to use those quite expensive countertops that are quite industrial looking, but because this is a starter home, and like that's the beauty of apartments in The Sims 4 is that they work as starter homes in budgets, so I wanted to keep it the same, sort of under 20k, so that a single sim could live here. So I didn't want to use really expensive countertops because then I would have money for like not a lot else, and I just was not about that life. Because I also love to clutter my builds as much as possible. Although in this one I don't clutter as much because obviously I'm trying to save money like I just said. But also because if it's a starter build you do not want like a lot of clutter. The other quite interesting thing that I've noticed about EA is that they have like limits, like item limits on like homes that come with expansion packs and things in different worlds. At least I think they do. So I tried to kind of stick to that as well. It wasn't like a proper, like I wasn't sticking to it fully because I do add a lot of clutter like in this build like I do in most of my other builds, but I try to. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself. Now the other thing about this apartment as well is even though it is really annoying to try and work out a layout for because of the windows, it does mean that it is really easy to furnish because then you have separate areas for each bit. Like as you can see, I have a little nook for the kitchen, and then I have one for the living area as well, and then a dining table fits quite nicely in there. So this was one of the easiest apartments to furnish, I think. It was just really hard to work out the layout, and I ended up sticking with or very similar to the layout that was there before, which I am kind of gutted about because I did want to change it up, but I tried, guys. I really tried. Something you guys will notice about me after watching some of these speed builds that I do is that I use a lot of the same objects. And again, it is because I really like that industrial look, but also because they just look good. And also when you're having limited packs, like I haven't done a limited pack build where I'm like actually focused on just having like base game and one pack in ages. Like I've only did that by accident when I literally only had like a couple packs. So this was like really like challenging for me. So I do use the same objects in a lot of these builds, especially in these ones. And now I'm adding back that window that I was mentioning before got deleted, and it does cause a little bit of issue because I'm trying to like figure out the layout of my kitchen again, but I do eventually make it work. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but I don't think it looks awful. The other thing that you guys will notice about me is that I tend to create little storylines as I'm building in these because then it makes them so much easier to build. And in this one, I imagine some sort of like new artist or new journalist or something has just come to live in the city to pursue their career. So they bought this little like 1-bedroom apartment and like decorated it all artsy and industrial like, and I just ran with that. That being said, a lot of the storylines do end up being similar. Love an artsy sim, can't lie. Like any sort of artsy sim, like an artist or a journalist or a writer or a painter, love them all. Will probably make a lot of apartments based on them. When I'm on live or when I'm streaming this sort of stuff, these sort of renovations that I do, people love to create sims create a sim and add them onto the gallery. So if you guys want to do that and you want to create a sim for this apartment or any of the other apartments that we create, and you see like a sim that you think would fit the storyline of this apartment, feel free to upload it onto the gallery using the hashtag RosGriff. And I love looking through them and adding some of them into my save files. I think eventually I would love to create my own save file that people could download with all of our renovations, but also with all the sort of sims that people have made as well. I feel like that would be so fun to do. Around this area is where I start to add all the clutter items using the last bits of our budget. I do think we go slightly over, but I don't think it's awful. So your sims should still be able to move into this apartment as a starter apartment, or at least maybe like a second generation sim if you were doing like the legacy challenge or something, which is what I use apartments for a lot because they're so much more affordable than the houses and easier to like budget and things. So yeah, I hope you guys can use this apartment for your sims one way or another. I will upload it onto the gallery and my gallery ID will be in the description. But yeah, thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. I've really enjoyed it and I can't wait to do the next one, so stay tuned for them. Thank you so much and I hope you have a great rest of your day.